easy stuff, just injuries right off the top.
I could have told you that was.
I guess.
Okay, who do you want to know?
Hyatt, Wandale, Burns.
Okay, Burns practicing. Hyatt will do some more than he did yesterday. Probably still just individual. We'll see where he's at after that, but make improving. And we'll hold Wandale today. Nothing serious. Just got a knee to the leg, so we'll take care of him. There you go. You got it.
Brian, some teams, when they put the pads on, they do live tackling, tackle to the ground kind of things. Are you going to do that?
It will have thud tackling, so it won't be bring it to the ground. Thud up, getting a good football position when you're kind of head on with the player, not coming from the side or from behind. But it'll be good for the offense and defensive linemen who now can bull rush and run games and do some things with double teams. You don't really run the ball too much, I would say, in OTAs or even these first few days, just because of, you don't want to put anybody in a bad situation. But now the double teams and the scoop blocks and the down blocks and the power rushes, that's when you start to be able to evaluate the offensive line a little bit more. Stay away from the quarterback as normal, not leaving our feet to go to the ground. But those are some of the techniques that we'll evaluate once the pads come on.
Why do you not believe in some teams do it. I'm not, some take to the ground tackling, like in drills and things like that.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do it. Today's the first day of pads, so I didn't say I didn't believe in it. Okay. I just said this is how we're going to do it today.
What's the energy like from the team on the first day in pads? Is there a discernible difference?
They've been grinding away at their bodies. They're taking care of their bodies. Go out there and have a good practice. It's a little bit more physical. Should be with the pads on, but practice the right way, and most importantly is get good work in and get something out of it.
Are we going to see O-line, D-line one-on-ones, or is it still a ramp up until that?
Yeah, no, we'll have, you'll see a fair amount of that. You'll see, team periods. I'm not saying it's exactly today, but we'll have a whole structure of how we want to get things accomplished.
What's your message to the guys about not crossing the line after like what we saw in the spring, those types of things?
Well, you've played competitive sports. You want to try to eliminate those things. It's hot. People are competing for jobs. Again, we have one team, so you want to make sure you can come out of here as healthy as you can in training camp. Sometimes those things flare up. We'll do our best to not let that happen. It's not something we want to do, but it's also, been doing this a long time as you have. It's the nature of the business a little bit, but we'll talked about it this morning. We'll do our best to avoid as many of those as we can and get good work in, but still play physical.
It seems like you pull guys off if it gets a little heated, like
yeah,
kind of pick guys out. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yep. So hopefully we don't see that today.
How much with the pads going on will you really don't see the running game, so to speak, the first week?
Yep.
But will there be more emphasis on running game periods for you
yeah,
guys?
yeah. Look, when you're in OTAs, in the first few days of practice, there's a way you try to practice. It's a physical sport, but you're doing things to try to eliminate some of those things when you don't have pads on. Like a bunch of double teams with no pads on. That's hard on the defensive lineman, or a pick stunt on an offensive lineman when he's got no pads on, with the technique that they have to use. So you have to practice both, but we'll get a fair amount of run game in. We'll have situational work today, some one-on-ones. We'll do some other drills with the skill players, not one-on-ones, but different stacks and bunch combinations that the defense has to cover, the offense has to sort through. So just looking to get some good work these next few days.
How much of an adjustment or challenge is it to get reps for 4 quarterbacks? You guys, in the past, always had 3 in camp, so now you have a 4th.
You just plan for it, and you plan what you think each guy needs. Try not to let them know, when they're going in. So you have to go ahead and execute. A lot of times you'll have a rack of plays. You'll kind of study those at night. I want to keep some of them on their toes and see how they respond when maybe it's not a play that they're anticipating, but they got to go ahead and execute it and not think about it. Only got 30 seconds to get in there and snap it and coach off of it. I think that's how you learn the best.
Do you plan to carry for all through camp? Just 'cause I would assume if you start getting short another position, that almost feels extra to have a fourth quarterback.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to working with all 4 of these quarterbacks.
With Daboll, you've seen his hands so far, looking pretty good in camp. When you guys were evaluating him, how impressive were you guys with him being able to be as good a pass catcher as much as he was being so tough between the lines?
Yeah, that's definitely part of the evaluation. He was a physical player first and foremost. When you watch the tape, hard guy to bring down when he has the ball in his hands. You know, there's all different shapes, sizes of running backs, different speed, different quickness, tall, short. Can they make yards when they get the ball in their hand? However that sorts itself out, handing it to them, tossing it to them, throwing them a screen, and then how are his hands? Can you use them in the passing game? He's got good hands. He's got soft hands. He's pretty, you know, I talked about with Abdul yesterday. This is another guy that you could evaluate on tape and see these instincts show up, where he's not just a line guy. He has good football instincts. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing him in pads today. You know, he's a low level, you know, gets his pads down, runs hard. Looking forward to watching him run today.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Speaking of Scatterbo, your running back room, you've
Yeah.
got 3 guys you can run out there, real good receiving skills. If you don't mind, can you talk about how does that pressure defensive coordinators that they constantly gotta be prepared for 3 guys that you can roll in there that can receive out of the backfield?
Yeah, well, look, there's always strengths to a coverage, and then there's weaknesses to a coverage. And the more guys that you can utilize in the pass game to affect different areas based on what the defense is doing, the more helpful it is for a quarterback. And our guys can, you know, they can run routes, they can catch, they can run. You know, you don't have a problem playing any of those guys on first, second, or third down, or fourth down for a lot of them. So there's some flexibility there with those guys. And it's all dependent on matchup and what you're seeing defensively and who's covering them. You know, they're out there against a corner. You're not too excited about that matchup with corners covering them. But if you get them on the right matchup and you get them into space the way you need to get into, it's usually a good asset for you.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
When you talk about the instincts with Scat,
Yeah.
Did the vision kind of pop off when you watched him on film? He seems to have real good vision.
Yeah.
Is that something that popped off for you when you were watching him?
He has there's not many times, at least that I've seen him here just in a short time or even on tape, like why is he going where he's going? He's got good feel for the blocking assignments up front, but then he's got good vision for the second level and at times the third level of, you know, when to press the ball, when to cut it back, when to keep it front side. You know, he's got a long way to go, rookie, but another young player that has been encouraging in the meetings and then out in the practice fields, both in walkthrough and practice.
How big of a loss is Bryce?
Man, my heart aches for that man. He's done everything he could do to get back. He was a very good special teams player for us and was having a good camp from working back from his injury. You know, he's just laying there on the ground, and you just can't help it. You know, that's the tough part of this business, probably one of the worst, is seeing these guys go down that have put so much time and effort and energy into getting back. And, you know, we'll certainly miss him. You know, unfortunate thing for Bryce. I feel terrible for him, feel bad for our team because he was a good player for us in the kicking game. And now other people are going to have to step up, but, man, that was a tough one.
We asked you about Jackson's end of practice Friday. It was the one that you threw him in at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, he had the end of the practice drive. What were your thoughts? What did you like about what he did yesterday and how he ran the team down the end of the practice?
Look, Jax has been, you know, since he's been here, steadily improving, learning how we want to run the football team from the quarterback position. He's made a lot of good decisions, made a lot of things that we could go ahead and correct. You know, he had a pretty efficient drive. Was good quarterback play. Had a couple checks in there on his own. Made some plays against different looks. You know, some max pressures, some guys dropping off. Played on time. His feet were good. Played fast. Knew where to go with the football. Did a good job of leading the guys in the huddle. So a productive day for him. Still some things, you know, within that day that we go back and take a look at, but just keep on making progress.